With soil health, we are facing a loss of 24 billion tons of topsoil a year. And so as farmers, we can do practices that preserve soil so that we can extend farming into the future.
I started farming here in Monterey County on a hillside in 1983 rather. And we couldn't till because of the erosion. And so we had this permanent cover crop. And I thought, what am I going to do with that? You know, I was Fresno State. We dissed everything. We tilled everything. So finally I got used to it. And the more I learned about it, the more ingenious it was that it had developed there on that site. And so today, except when we develop a vineyard, all of our acres are non-till. When you till, you liberate methane, gas, nitrous oxides, carbon dioxide, and you ruin the substrate, the roots, the rhizome of the cover crop, which are acting as a home for beneficial bacteria, fungus, and etc. And so it's self-defeating. So soil health became very important to Monterey Pacific early in our company's history. We became heavy users of compost. And along the lines of learning more about compost, Doug introduced us to biochar.
When I came to work with Monterey Pacific in 2004, the first thing I did was sample the soils of all the vineyards. And so it was my own sampling and my own analysis of the data that kind of led me to understand how low soil organic matter levels were in our vineyards. And it makes a lot of sense because these agricultural lands have been farmed, mostly orchards and vineyards, for over 100 years. And that whole 100 years was clean cultivation. It means that they were disking it up to 6, 7, 8 times a year. And each time they disk, they turn it over, the organic matter is exposed to the sun and oxygen, and it breaks down very quickly. So if you look across the whole Central Coast, practically all the long-term lands that have been farmed are really low organic matter. And so in my testing just basically revealed that.
We like to say that regenerative, they finally found a term that applies to what we've been doing for years, because soil health really does start with the bacteria.
And this is one of the most important functions of biochar, is supporting the microbiome, supporting all the bacteria and fungi that then create soil structure in their activities. They recycle nutrients. Probably one of the most important things that biochar does is encourages the formation of soil structure. And soil structure means that you have some resilience to drought. In creating soil structure, they're creating ideal porosity. And that means that the air pores, the pores that are filled with air in the soil, the pores that are filled with water in the solids, are at a balance of 25-25-50, where you have plenty of air, plenty of oxygen for the roots to respire, and you have plenty of nutrients for them to work off of. So basically, as they create soil structure, what they do is they create water use efficiency and water holding capacity.
The golden rule is you have to increase biodiversity above the ground and below the ground, and that is looking at all the invisible microbes and considering what their feedstock is. So the root exudates from all the different cover crop mixes you have. And then also something that's apart from the vineyard, like hedgerows, like that increases the biota above ground. So you have more birds and more insect life, and in the grand scheme of things, that is all increasing biodiversity, and all the microbes below ground are increasing in their diversity as well. And we have noticed the longevity of the vineyards that we have been composting and cover cropping and have been taking more care of the soil, and they last for, like the vineyard here is 53 years old, and it's still vibrant and alive and healthy. And so just that small investment in compost and decreasing chemical inputs and pesticides and having mixed species cover crops, all of those things have helped keep our vineyard alive and healthy for a lot longer. So like the results aren't going to be instantaneous. It takes time. Organic matter takes years to build up. It takes a long time, so be patient and keep at it as much as you can.